Good. So, and let me just make sure we are good. Let me drag some chat bar. So I kind of gave you a heads up last night, right, in the Rising Stars kind of what I wanted to talk about today. And kind of my game plan for just sort of I'm like kind of figuring out what everything kind of looks like, right? And so over the past kind of 10 days, I feel like life has gone through this transition, right? So if you guys remember on the 13th was when they closed school for us, right? So like it was the 13th. So it was like party, the kids are off school, kind of sucks, but no big deal. And I think a lot of people kind of went through that next week and they didn't really take it seriously. Some did, some didn't, right? People were still working, like things weren't all that weird. We were kind of all trying to figure out what to do with our kids, and we had really good intentions of like routine and workouts, but then most of us ate our emotions, drank them maybe, and we had no routine or schedule with our kids, even though we kind of tried. And then we went through a whole week like that, and then we were like, oh crap, this is not going to work, right? Like I feel like crap, my kids are acting out. And so then I think for some of us, we kind of got ourselves into a routine and a schedule this week, and it's still not perfect. We're still kind of navigating, but we've kind of found a new normal. But then there's been like another layer that kind of was added was when sort of businesses started shutting down, right? And so I sort of noticed that, oh my gosh, like all of a sudden the fear from other people started to happen. Did you guys kind of notice that? Like all of a sudden everybody's like fear level went way up. And I noticed it was like Saturday to like yesterday. I've been like wrestling very much like emotional, and I found myself like really struggling with, like, I'm supposed to be talking about recruiting and I'm having a hard time. And so I've been like navigating emotionally how to make this all work, and just knowing a lot of small business owners being very sensitive to all of that. And so, it's kind of been this transition, and I'm watching people's energy just go down and down and down and down and down, like doom and gloom and doom and gloom and doom and gloom. And so, my natural tendency is, and I was working out on Monday morning, and and this is my personality. You guys know this about me, right? And some of you may not because you don't know me as well, but I am the kind of person that is like, so what do we need to do? Let's create a plan. Let's create we can't complain about this. We can't whine. We can't like be paralyzed by fear. Like, what are we gonna do? And then I got mad at myself because I'm like, I'm not very empathetic. I'm not really good at empathizing, right? And so then I got mad at myself. So literally, I've been a shitstorm of emotion over here, over the past couple of days, and I've really struggled with it, right? And I've like been processing a lot of things that yeah, glass case of emotion. Yeah, like literally. And I'm trying to like process it all. And so last night I made a post about just honestly like kind of how I felt about the situation, right? And it was very much a candid, honest, like, look, I have experience in building a business. I know how to do it. I know what to do. I've led during difficult times before, and I don't have an answer, but I'm going to show up and do the best that I can. And so I talked about that, right? I talked about the way I was going to serve. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep giving people advice, right? I'm going to show up and give people advice, and wherever things sort of fall, they're going to figure it out. And so I kind of came to this realization that, I just need to not be so hard on myself. And maybe that's something you need to hear for you today is like, look, guys, we're going to have to change the way we do things. It's like pivot. I've seen this like a few times now on social media, the Ross episode Pivot from Friends. Like how many of you have seen that now shared in a bunch of different places, like in business right now? It's just what we're doing. We're just going to make a pivot. And so, but it's going to be this process of us, again, just trying things until we figure out what works. And I started listening to the John Maxwell series, right? I'm leading through crisis. And I honestly am not very far into it, but I have to leave the house today. So I'm going to listen to that when I drive. And I was listening to it while I got ready this morning. And so I really encourage you guys to listen to that because it is really good. Like the beginning parts of it, yes, they're so good. They're on YouTube. You can actually go grab them if you just type John Maxwell in. Today, I think is the last one. It's like a Q&A, but just go back to episode number 1 and kind of work through them. I've been listening to, Brendan Burchard, he did a whole thing on the coronavirus. It started last weekend and it's really good, right? So I know that in times of crisis, because I've never led through this situation before, that I'm in the same boat that you are, right? And I'm figuring this out alongside of you. And I think one of our biggest fears is leading well, like leading well through it. That's hard. That's hard. We don't ever want to stray people in the wrong direction. We don't ever want to come off as salesy. We don't ever want to do something wrong. We don't ever want to make a decision that could have a negative impact on our team, right? And so we put all of this stress and all of this pressure on us to be perfect in this time where we've never gone through it before. And the best thing that we can do right now as leaders is be really authentic, is to be really honest. And hey, if that means you got to go into your team page and you just got to cry, go for it. Like, go for it. People need to know, like, you're a human and you may not have all the answers, but you're going to lead the best that you can. All right. And so I think that's really important. And maybe you found yourself distancing from your team because you don't know what to do. And so I want to call on you guys as leaders right now, right? I really want to call on you guys as leaders. So number one, this is not the first crisis that we've ever been through. Right. And even as I was listening to John Maxwell this morning, right, and listening to that, he talked about that at the beginning. And one other piece of advice I'm going to give to you guys right now that he said in that first 10 minutes was, he said, stop watching the news. And I stopped watching the news like a week ago, right? Because it is a shitstorm, right? And so, but he said, go to the World Health Organization, go to, what was the second one he said? The CDC. Right. And that's where you get factual information, because the media is going to twist it to be whatever agenda the media has, whether it's political or whatever is going on. Like, they're going to focus on what they want you to focus on. So let's just disengage from that. All right. So very simple things, like I don't even get up in the morning, and I am like so laser focused on me in the mornings in my routine. And even when I go to bed at night. And I will tell you that last week I did not engage all of the tools and tactics, right? I was like letting it get the best of me. And I was up at night scrolling. I was up at night before I went to bed, and I was reading about the virus. Do you know what I was dreaming about? Those things. I was last night, you guys, I had a dream about Chalene Johnson. I was at Chalene Johnson's house, and we were canceling I'm going to be on her panel at the Impact Academy at the end of May. And I was dreaming that it was canceled, and we were having a conversation, and she was like crying in her living room because she had to cancel this. And we were talking about like the money, like that, because I was watching her stories before I went to bed. And I was like, okay, Melanie, like I didn't sleep last night. And so I'm like, it's because you're not sticking to what you know to be true. It is no social. It is getting off of it. It is not doing those things in the morning. So have you found yourself kind of falling back into old patterns because you're like fight or flight right now, right? So like be aware of that, because I think that's important. I even wrote into my schedule today like 3 times during the day where I was going to stop and I was just going to breathe, like set my app and just breathe for 5 minutes, right? Like I'm just going to breathe and focus on what area I'm holding tension, because I'm holding a lot of tension in my body, right? So it's just sort of breathing through it. So those are some of that we've all done crisis before. So we've all had something happen in our lives where we've had to move cross country. We've had a family member sick. We've had, our children have had problems, right? Where we've gone through medical things. We may have had personal medical issues. You may have had injuries. Like if you can pinpoint something in your life, you've all been through something, okay? You can work through this, and we can apply some of the same principles, right, in other crises to this one. And that's some of what we're going to talk about today, is kind of arming ourselves with some real tangible things. But here's the thing. You have to be a leader during this time. You have to. You cannot shrivel up in the corner and do nothing. Okay. And this is going to be the hardest thing for you, because I know you want to. I know that for some of you, your natural tendency is not like me to be like, what do we need to do? Let's create a plan. Let's make a to-do list. Like I am positive pants, Melanie, we will get through this, right? With moments of like falling apart. That's kind of my personality, right? But then there are some of you that you can spiral and you stay in that spiral, right? And so the best thing that we can do right now is become a leader. And so that may mean that, I'm not saying you need to be like doing everything and taking on everybody's burden and everybody's problem, but you can show people how to lead. Okay. And that can be very simple, but your people will follow your lead. So if you don't show up at all, they're not going to show up at all. If you are not posting about your workouts or your mindset or your routine, guess who's not going to post about it either? Right? If you aren't going into your team and sharing things that are working, whether it's something you personally created or you found a resource that another coach created, you are going to have to guide them to where you want them to go right now. And it is going to require energy from you to get up on your little soapbox and rah, cheer people along. Okay. So yes, it is going to require a little bit more of you, but if you shrivel up and go to the corner, everybody will follow you. Everybody. Okay. So I want to remind you. So it may mean like last week, I think I went live in my team page, I don't know, like at least 4 times, 4 or 5 times, because I knew that people needed that. I knew they just needed comfort. They needed community. And a lot of times it wasn't really giving tons of direction. It was sort of motivation or mindset, right? Okay. The next thing, and they're looking for how you react. So right now, this is the narrative that people are getting. They're backing up because they haven't reached Success Club this month. Okay. So what happens when people don't hit Success Club? They do one of 2 things. They shut down completely and we never hear from them again. Doesn't that happen to a lot of our people, right? You never hear from them again when they miss Success Club because they're like, I failed. So or they get mad and then they redeem themselves the next month. But as a leader, I feel like it's okay. I'm going to say it's okay. I don't give 2 shits what Beachbody says. I don't care if you miss Success Club. Okay. Like if it happens, you're not a bad coach. I want you to know that. All right. Like in the grand scheme of life, it is better to keep a connection and a relationship with somebody than to push somebody that is having a hard time towards a specific goal and ruin that connection. Okay. And that goes against everything that our company says, right? Everything. Because of course, Carl wants us to hit Success Club. Of course, he wants us to make the sales. Of course he does. But as a leader of your team, you have to look at your people and say, what do they need? Do I need to be helping them at least create some income so it's BOD? Do I know that this person is just giving me excuses and I kind of need to call them out on it and be like, I know you can do this, right? Like there are going to be some people you can push. There are going to be other people that you can't. And you're the leader who actually has to figure out who I can push and who I can't. All right. So you're going to have to just get in your inbox and start talking to people and just getting a pulse on where they're at and maybe pulling people together for a call and having your own little fireside chat or, cocktail hour tonight where you guys all come together and you talk about what's going on. Get a pulse on your people. Okay. Because I think that is super important, but maybe just releasing this need to reach this certain deadline, this certain benchmark, like putting that additional stress on yourself, I think will actually start repelling people instead of bringing them in. Again, it is all based on personality style. Some of you are going to say, I don't agree with you. And that's okay. You are allowed to disagree with me. I am fine with that. Right. I don't care. But I think that you have to lead in your heart. Okay. Like you really do. Like sometimes you're going to have to make decisions that are best for your people, but maybe aren't going to be best for what the company is saying. And that's okay too. And that just is becoming a confident leader, right? And just being okay with that. All right. So a lot of what we need to be doing has to be felt. It's like I feel this in my heart and this is what I need to do. Okay. So, and every situation is going to be different for every single leader. So that's kind of the next thing. And what I want to do is, and before we kind of move to the next part is I want to just talk about like you guys, all right, where you're at right now. So we know we need to lead our people, but we can't lead our people if we aren't leading ourselves first. And that means that, like, you know, the analogy, put the oxygen mask on yourself. Okay. So I want to say now more than ever, you want to lean into you. So as a mom, a wife, a business owner, whatever roles that you're playing right now, are you letting your routine slide? Are you letting your nutrition fall? Are you letting your personal development take a backseat? Are you stopping to do some of the things that you know are good for your mental health? I want to challenge you to actually make those a priority over business goals. Okay? Because when you are taking care of you, you will naturally share what's working. You will naturally have more mental clarity. You will have more energy to do the business side of it. But let's sort of make sure we gut check ourselves to say, have I let my own personal health and fitness and mindset take a backseat because I'm reacting to everything else around me? All right. So for me, I sort of widened the amount of quiet time I spend in the morning. Starting today, I am like, okay, Melanie, you got to go back to that 8:30, shutting it off and doing your evening routine. You're going to put a time in your day. You're going to schedule it into your day where it is, I'm going to, take a nap or do a meditation or go outside for a walk, right? I'm going to schedule those things into my day and I'm going to just preserve them with everything that I can. All right. Okay. The next thing is for those people that are not just like, what do we need to do? Let's make a list, and they can just sort of motor through it. I want to speak to those of you that tend to get overwhelmed and tend to get paralyzed and tend to like shut down. Okay. We're going to talk about that. So I heard this analogy on Monday, and it's called bullseye filtering. And basically, I just want you to draw on a sheet of paper a bullseye, right? Like one big outer circle, another circle in the middle, and then a smaller circle that's your bullseye. All right. And then on that outer ring, I want you to write 80%. Let me make sure I'm doing that right. No, 5%. Sorry. 5% on that outside ring. Okay. I want you to write 5%. In the middle, that second ring, I want you to write 15%. And then in the very center, I want you to write 80%. Okay. Now, let's talk about what that means. 80%, your bullseye, 80%, these are things in life you can control. All right. 80%. 15%, that middle one, is things you have influence over. And then 5% is the things that you have no control over whatsoever. Now, what are the things that we have no control over right now? When our kids go back to school, if we have a job tomorrow, I mean, full-time jobs, people that, work in that, right, is out of our control. Finances, some degree, paycheck stuff out of our control. We don't have control over those things. But why are we spending the majority of our time focusing on the 5%, right? Let's look at what things we have influence over. We have influence over our teams. We have influence over our social media. We have influence over how many invites that we send, or how many follow-ups that we do, or how many people we get into a free group. We have influence over people when we share what's working for us and things in, our morning routines and how we're working through it. We have influence, but we can't control the outcome, right? We can influence. But 80%, you guys, is controllable. How we show up in the morning, what we choose to think about, who we spend our time with, who we choose to not spend time with, right? You have control over what happens in your four walls, the conversations that you have. There is so much you have control over, but instead we're focusing on that 5% we have no control over. And so what I want to challenge you guys to do is to begin to have this like self-filtering system where you begin to actually discipline your thoughts. Okay. And so in Super Attractor, the book I'm reading with Gabby Bernstein, she talks about this method, this sequence that she goes through. And so, and I've been using this, and it's actually something that I've been working even in my own personal life with a therapist on, is just sort of stopping these anxious thoughts, right? Or stopping the unhealthy thoughts. So when you think something, right, and you start to worry about something that's out of your control, you stop. You say, I understand. I'm worrying about something that's a 5%. I can't control it. I acknowledge that I'm thinking this way. And now I'm going to choose again. Okay. So it's like, I acknowledge that I'm thinking something that I have no control over. I am going to stop that and I'm going to choose again. And so it is this simple, and you have to choose it. So you have to say, like, I can't control when the kids are going to go back to school, but for now, we're going to make a new schedule and we're going to do school from 8 to 10 every day. And that is just how it's going to be, right? Or I can't control, whether or not we're going to be going on vacation in June, but I'm going to control my workout because I know if we can go on vacation, I'll be ready to roll in that bikini. Right? So like just it's changing it. I can't control the fact that my kids are fighting with each other, but we can go outside and I can like separate themselves and make them do laps around the yard and time them and give them a prize for whoever wins. Right? So it's like you're just learning on the fly. You're redirecting the thought. You're redirecting it. Right? If you start to go, oh my God, my volume is down. Oh my God, I can't control it. I can't control it. Right? But what can control? Well, you can control maybe just reaching out to the current customers that you do have, checking in on them, seeing if there's anything that you can do, starting a conversation that may lead them down to, I need more Shakeology, and they order Shakeology. That's totally within your control. It's a conversation that you have with somebody, right? So I want to just get us into that thought process. And the one thing my therapist has taught me is like this, we call it the delete technique. And I have learned to like delete thoughts. Like I can't think that, delete it out. Think of something new. And when your body, like how many of you start to get into that fight or flight thing, right? That's your body trying to tell you that, you're not safe. And that was something that served us a long time ago, but it doesn't serve us today. So we have to make sure that when our bodies start to go fight or flight, we have to repeat, I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe. Everything's okay. Everything's okay. Look around. I'm safe. I'm safe. There's nothing. I'm okay. I am fine. Body relax. This is where you breathe. This is where you acknowledge the anxious thought. This is where you choose something different and we move on. Okay. Business is going to look different. We're defining a new normal, but it doesn't mean business stops for us. All right. That's super duper important right now. So what are 3 things you can do today that you can control? 3 things. All right. And then those 3 things, when you write them down, and then I want you to go to your calendar and block out time to do them. So if the kids take a nap in the afternoon, or they go to bed at 8:00 or whatever, if they're good at watching a TV show for 30 minutes, I want you to block that time out and say, I'm going to do these 3 things today. These are the 3 things I can control and I'm going to do them. All right. So those 3 things might be, I need to invite to the coaching opportunity. So I'm going to go through my list of people from last month and I'm going to reach out to all those people. That is controllable. That is something you can do. Right? You might go into your challenge groups and you might, post about a sneak peek that you're hosting. You may send an email. You may connect with 10 new people. Those are things that are in your control. Okay. So I want you guys to focus on that and then do the same thing tomorrow. What are 3 things I can control? So instead of just letting ourselves spiral, what can we control? And so I hope that bullseye really helps you, but this is just like really focusing on what you can do in this exact moment. All right. Okay. So any questions so far before I move on to my next bullet point? Anything you guys want to add? Okay. Sorry for the big, large gulp. Okay. So next I kind of want to talk about the whole concept of selling, right? Because it's like a big thing right now. And I did say that at the beginning, how much I was having a hard time just sort of selling right now. And there's 2 sides of the story, right? So there are people right now, again, this is all personality based, I do believe. Like there are some people that are like, business as usual, and I'm just going to keep on going. And they haven't even thought twice about it. And then there are some people that are like, hold up, I got to really think this through. I don't know what the right option is to be. And then again, there's other people that have completely retreated. So I think the best piece of advice I can give you is you have to, again, do what feels best for you. You really and then that requires you to like, I've had this conversation, we just had this conversation this morning, right? Like about unfollowing people that maybe are doing it a way that you don't align with. because it like makes you a little anxious, because it makes you question whether or not you're doing the right thing. And I want you to say, I need to stay in the lane that feels good to me right now. So if that means you're going to run a 14-day free group, do it. Okay. If that's what that means, like do what feels good. But there are ways that you can find a flow. So I don't want to tell you what to do, but I want to give you options of what you could do. Does that make sense? All right. And then you have to land where you fall emotionally and feel what feels good, because your business should always feel good. So for me, my natural tendency is to serve. So I just want to give free advice, right? Like I propel into action with, okay, I bet people don't have a morning routine right now. So let me go live and talk about my morning routine. Or, people don't know how to do this triangle breathing. So let me teach them how to do that. Or let me teach them how to meditate. Or let me teach people how to make a grocery budget on less money. Or let me teach people how to meal plan when everybody's home and make things in bulk. So my natural tendency is just to show up and give advice and free information on my social media. Okay. Now that is always something I've always done, in the past. So it's really no different. I just sort of ramped it up and geared it towards kind of what's going on right now. And that is serving me well. By continuing to put the swipe up in my Instagram about joining my 14-day free group, by continuing to let people know that there are these free kids workouts, and they're filling out a form, and that form is giving me their email address. That is allowing me to serve people in a group, but it's also allowing me to send them emails. How is your workouts going, right? How is your nutrition? Hey, you might be struggling with mindset. I found this resource. Watch this podcast episode. It's really good. And then it's giving me an opportunity to then say, hey, the 14-day free group is almost over. Do you want to continue on? Are you interested in working with me? Here are some ways we can work together. Let's talk about it. To me, I'm okay with that conversation. And I've also decided that I'm not going to make people buy a challenge pack to continue working with me. If they want to buy Beachbody On Demand and they want to work with me, done. Okay. I'm going to give people the best solution. I'm always going to lead with the challenge pack, but I'm not going to force people into that. Okay. That feels good for me. And I know it's not the same for everybody. Some of you are going to, argue with me on that one, but that's okay. You're entitled to your own opinion. So, but that feels good. It's happening through private message. I'm also going to infuse that into the free group. Like we're going to go in there. We're giving advice. We're doing a water challenge. Last night we talked about emotional eating. We'll get to the point where we start talking about, some of the products and things we use in there too. And at the end, we'll ask people if they want to continue on, and we'll have that private conversation. So a lot of what I'm doing is kind of behind the scenes through emails and private messages. Every one of those people that joined that free group have been getting a message from me, right? Just checking in to see how they're doing. So I am having conversations. I didn't just throw people in a group and kind of sit back. Okay. The next thing is, as far as like the coaching opportunity goes, I am doing a business opportunity tonight. And I'm kind of coming at it from the perspective of, look, right now, people need community. Right now, people are really feeling alone. Right now, that maybe you've thought about coaching before, because I have a lot of people on a list that have never signed up, right? Tons of people on a list. And I'm going to say, look, maybe your circumstances have opened up a window for you to build your platform. And I know how to help you do that. So I want to help you. So I'm opening up an opportunity tonight at 8:00 to grab a cocktail, hang out, hear about what we do as coaches, give you a little sneak peek into what a challenge group is and how we run it. I want to talk about the community. I want to talk about like, hey, this is a good time to start something new, to kind of build that platform, to put your energy into something positive, to surround yourself with good people, to get your own health and fitness like on the right track. Like this is a positive place to focus your energy because you're surrounded by great people. And at the end of the day, you're going to feel better. Even if you decide like, hey, coaching's not really my jam. at least you leave a healthier person at the end of your time here with us. And so my focus is, sure, you can make an income, but I also want to make sure, like, like, hey, we're here to help. All right. So that's kind of my stance. A lot of that is through private messaging. A lot of that is just happening on the back end versus on the front end. Okay. I'm very sensitive to the fact that I don't want to be like, look at me, I get to work from home and life is great. Because some people, Farron, Melanie, they're going into the workforce right now and they are being exposed every single day, and they are like legit fearful. I could cry. I actually have tears. Like, like and so it's like, they're putting their lives on the line for us. So think about all the people that are doing that right now, or all the people that just took out a small business loan and launched their business in January and had this grand plan for a company they were going to start, and they literally have bills coming in and they can't pay them. Like, people like that, we have to be super, super sensitive to it, right? So you've got to find that happy medium. And the only thing I know how to do is say, I'll help you. I'll help you, right? Like, like even just going live and being like, hey guys, like, want to know more about how to grow a business on Instagram, or how to, run a Facebook free group. Like, my sister-in-law is a teacher, and I was like, hey, want to start a free group for people that are, parents that need resources right now? I think that would be really good, because she has this business idea. I was like, let me help you start that now. Like, let's create that. Like, could you help some people? Could you do some lives of just things? Like, do you have other people that follow you? I think about, like, in 2011, I started a blog, right? Like, that's something easy you could teach somebody how to do that, so it's just like, what free advice, because you have knowledge about those things that you can add. And it may not be business. It might be, it might be faith, Rachel. It might be a prayer every morning that you go live and you talk to people about something people have shared, right? It can be so many different things. Farron, it could be speaking to the nursing community and, giving some things that are working for you at helping navigate all of that right now, right? So, like, look at your perspective and where you come from, and kind of what your angle is on this, and how can we serve the community. And I guarantee you things are going to happen for you, right? Because if you're engaging with people and then you're having private conversations, somebody's going to ask you, how you stay so positive, or what you do. And you can easily say, I'll send you some info if you want to know more about it. Or, if you want to do this, you can, right? So, like, you just can't be afraid to eventually have that conversation. All right. But it's like, how do we have it? How do we have it? Okay. So that's the way that I'm sort of approaching this, right now. And I am hosting that business opportunity call. I am putting it out there to people. I know that people need income right now. I know that people need community. But I think the best thing is really support at the end of the day, because when people feel supported, they're going to get through hard things together. All right. So we want to just be careful. We aren't actually shutting people out and pushing them away, but we're getting them to understand, like, the good that we have to offer. And in that same breath, and Jess, I know you kind of had this, there are going to be shitty people. There are going to be shitty people that are going to be like, oh, you're preying on people right now with your health and fitness. Well, those people are angry. Okay. Those people have not found personal development yet. Those people are spiraling, and we're going to pray for them. Okay. Because they just don't know. They're unaware. They're unaware of how they're deflecting something they're struggling with onto you. And so instead of rebuttaling and being negative, I actually choose to disengage from that sort of stuff. So if you see people out there that are bashing Beachbody coaches, you just put it over there and you just close that door. We're just not going to give it. We're not going to give it any breath or air whatsoever, because it doesn't deserve ours. We know without a shadow of a doubt, we are good humans and we do good things and we help other people, right? So we just have to remember that is our truth that we live by. Okay. So that's super important. So you guys, being sensitive about your posts. Yes, I'm grateful for my home business. Like this morning, I just did a thing where I was like, I'm preparing for my leadership call and my kids are doing their chores, right? Like that was kind of how I documented my business today, right? Tonight, I'll probably do like a little thing about, just being on the call and talking to other people about creating opportunity. you know? So like, it's just going to be a little more sensitive than it typically is. It might mean that my numbers are affected, but I believe with every single ounce in my body that if you show up consistently right now, it will pay you back tenfold. Tenfold. It always has proven to be true. Even when I had 0 followers and I was showing up making videos about how to meal plan and recipes and how I was getting out of bed in the morning and how I was modifying push-ups. Like I've done videos of how to use a pull-up band thing to do assisted pull-ups. Like serve. And people, when they will remember you, right? They will, and this will turn around. This will change. We will not stay in this place. And so the people that lean in and show up now will be the people in June, July, and August that their business is exploding because they remembered you. But if you go sit in the corner and you check out of Facebook and Instagram and you stop showing up, everything's going to fall apart. Everything. Okay. So we got to find our happy medium within there that works best for each and every one of you. All right. So yeah. And I do think like offering people who love the product, the discount, right? Like letting people know that I'm going to share that graphic with people about, you know, the affiliate opportunity. Matt Way made it. She put it in one of her groups. I snagged it. I think somebody might've even shared it in the Rising Stars already. If not, I'll throw it in there again. But it's like letting people know we have an affiliate program. Basically, if you sign up as a coach and you refer people, you're getting your product for free. You're getting compensated for that. So I think there's nothing wrong with sharing that. You probably have a lot of loyal people right now that are like, sure, I'll share this with my friends. I don't mind at all. It's just like if right now, if you find a tool that works, you're going to share it with other people. So it's okay to share what's working and give other people that opportunity too. All right. So yeah, that's what I have for you guys. And I am going back and forth about what I want to do in April as far as like training and stuff like that. And I haven't figured it out yet. I will let you guys know by the end of the week. Kind of, I was going to do like a push group. And then I was like, I don't know what I want to, I don't know yet. So just let me kind of think it over and get back to you because I don't have an answer of what feels good right now to share with you guys. But we'll start our new coach mentorship, you know, in April. We'll move forward with that. I'll reach out and connect to everybody that I can. So I feel like I answered a lot of the questions that you guys had dropped in there. I tried to make sure that I put those in my notes. Is there other advice? Is there other things that you're doing? Anything else that you guys just want to share that would be helpful? How are you guys feeling? Is there anything I can help with or we can help you with?
The one thing, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
The one thing that's been hard lately, and I think we can all, all of us are supposed to be on the plane right now to Punta Cana. And it's like, that was the first thing we all had to give up. Right. And then we all had to give up like something else and something else and something else. And like even something as silly as this last weekend, I was looking forward to sitting with Kirk on the driveway. We were going to have Sunday fun day in the driveway. And like that got taken away too, because he was sick. No corona, thank God. But what I've learned, what I'm telling my people, I'm like, it's so hard to look forward to anything right now. Like when we are having a good moment to like take a breath, step back and be like, this is a good moment right now. I am so happy for this very moment I have right now, because like that's all we can really do right now. Right. Because it's so hard to look forward to anything. So I'm telling everyone, okay, like stop, take a minute, breathe, and like appreciate like what you have in that very second. Like that's what I'm telling people.
I love that. It's like finding joy in every moment, you know, because we're so wired. I mean, how many of you are wired to like get to the next thing, get to the next thing, get to the next goal, accomplish that thing, you know? And when you live like that, or you're always looking at it's like you miss those moments along the way. So it's like today, let's just find the joy. I get it. You may not be able to get the whole to-do list done. I get it. The kids might interrupt you 20 times, but you're home and you're healthy. And you have the opportunity to do what you do from home, right? Just might be a little wonky for a little while. What else? As poor Kirsten's little one is like ripping the earbud out.
I actually wanted to say something. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I I've been thinking about this, and I've been coaching for like 7 years, and I just feel like if we just look at this and say, you guys, like, we have trained for this for 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have been working from home amongst the chaos for 7 years. Like, so many of us have kids and other jobs and have had to make sacrifices. Like, we've been working out from home this whole time. Like, now everybody's working out from home. We've been using Zoom chats for years. Now everybody's using it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like if we can just take our perspective and be like, dude, we are like armed and trained for this. Like, this is our jam. Like, we can do this. We can handle all of this because we have health, we have fitness, and we have personal development. We have fed our minds with positivity every single day for 7 years. Like, we have been created to deal with this. So I just feel like embracing that. Like, if we can all just embrace that as coaches and just like step away from the fog and say, like, put yourself on that pedestal and just say, I got this. Like, I am an expert in this area. People need me because I know how to navigate all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And just have that perspective going forward. And everyone should listen to the John Maxwell training because it's life-changing. And he's just is saying, like, this is an opportunity that we're going to come out on the other side of this different. It's never going to be normal again. It's going to be a new normal, but like Melanie was saying, those of us who embrace it are going to be better. So that's why I just keep telling myself, like, I'm going to be such a better person on the other side of this. Like, I can't wait to see who I become through this. But every single one of you guys on this call, like, you're made for this. Like, you got this. This is our jam. We can do this. That's all.
Totally. I love it. Anything else, you guys? Anything even if you're struggling, this is your platform. You can share it. We will help you through it. I mean, how many of you are like, I now have to work with my husband. He is now at home with me all the time, and this is uncomfortable and weird. Anybody having to do that? Yeah, I see a couple of hands. And you're like, I don't like this. You need to go back to work, right? It's different. It is different. I mean, even Matt and I had to have a conversation when we were taking a walk last night. I was like, are you okay? I said, because you're taking a lot of the brunt of this because my work, and you don't, like, he's sort of the stay-at-home parent, and I was like, I know this in him to like do school work and chores and stuff. Like, he doesn't like, it's like oil and water, right, going on in my house a lot of the times. And we just had to have a good conversation about it when we were walking last night, and just making sure that we communicate, and we find that space for ourselves too. Anything else?
So I started making something fun in my group. We're doing a toilet paper challenge right now. And so, like, I've just been making a ton of games. So, like, in my free group, I have a ton of, like, fun but weird games going on. Like, incorporate toilet paper in your workout somehow. Like, don't unroll it. Like, it's not going to be harmed. But, like, just kind of make light of it. And then for my stories, I've me and my daughter, she's 3, we're going to make a new recipe from the Fix 8 cookbook and just share it, because so many people are like snacking like crazy and emotional eating. So I'm just sharing a bunch of like free recipes and like healthy. And
I love that.
I'm not a free group person, so it's like really hard for me, but I'm like trying to just like embrace it. And I'm emailing people daily in that free group, so they're constantly getting things from me. But I don't know, I'm just trying to make fun of, like, not make fun of it, but like make light of the situation, because everybody's so down right now.
Right. Agreed. I think we take it for granted that we're such positive people, and we don't necessarily understand why everybody else doesn't think that way too. Like, we tend to look at positive. And so it is challenging when people you don't realize how negative the world can be, Anything else, Shelly?
So I'm not obviously like rolling in the money from this opportunity right now. And this has totally like changed the face of our home. And I recently had to give up my job due to circumstances there that were horrible. And that just leaves my husband, who is now home as well. So I'm struggling with how to share this when I'm worried about even getting my own groceries right now. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if any of the rest of you are like worrying about that at this moment, but I'm going to be real and honest. Like, that's where we are right now. Are we going to be able to pay the electricity next month? Or so I'm really struggling with how I'm supposed to share this opportunity, which has impacted my life in so many positives, but I'm still dealing with that struggle of how we're going to make it, how we're going to survive. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes. I mean, if anybody wants to chime in, they certainly can. I feel like I would talk about that, and I would talk about how even just this community is keeping you positive. I think talking about the fact that there are so many unknowns and there are so many things that are out of your control. And even just sharing like maybe some of the personal development or something that somebody said in a group, or maybe how your challenge group gives you, a sense of fulfillment, right? And so talking about that part of it, and even just bringing together other people that might feel that way, that you can have a private conversation with too, Anybody else want to add to that? Yeah, I would talk about what this opportunity is helping you through right now. For sure. And your results, like even just sharing your before and after, like I saw you did that post. It might've been yesterday or the day before, and you had your whole like transformation lined up there. Keep talking about the process of not just the physical transformation, but who you've become through this process, and just open and honestly say that you want to help other people through that too. Right? So I think that's fine. And I think reaching out to people through private message, obviously, the income is important, right? So it's like even just getting people on BOD, that's going to give you income. Even getting people to buy Shakeology or 3-day like those are all income opportunities for you. It is, you're looking for people, you're connecting with people, or not, like not stopping doing all of your connects, your follow-ups, all of it, because there are people out there that are going to spend money right now. For sure, like hands down. Like I still am making commissions and sales and challenge packs, and coaches are still signing up. So we can't be afraid to still ask people too. Right, Shelly?
That is true. Because I went from like SC0 last week and I'm setting at SC7 today. So, I mean, it is true. There's people that are watching and they're signing up. And that gives me great hope, honestly. But I was just struggling so bad with just, where I'm at and where I'm trying to go, and just kind of making it all fit together.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know how to share that because, we're always sunshine and rainbows, and I want to be relatable to those people because I'm worried about it too. Like, honestly,
Yeah.
I mean, I know how to deal with that, and I can share that. And I do, I talk about my morning routine all the time and what a saving grace it is in my walk, but it's still a fear for us every single day.
Yeah. So be vulnerable, be authentic, and share that you're challenged by it, and you can even say like, I'm so grateful that I do have an opportunity to give people a service from home. And I'm so thankful I can create an income for helping to change people's lives, and I think saying that also, and you can just say like, I am willing to help anybody else that maybe is in the same situation that would like to learn more about the opportunity, would learn to like more about creating a business that is virtual. So maybe because you have that relatability factor of, hey, I'm currently faced with, will I be able to pay my bills? I have this business that I can control, and I'm going to do everything in my power to create an income. Does anybody else want to come alongside of me? And so you can use like right now in your personal example, you can share that. And I wouldn't be afraid to do that. Yeah. Rachel gave you a suggestion. I never thought $100 would mean so much to my family, and explain where you're at. Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. And honestly, Shelly, you hit me up if you need to like chat and we need to talk it through. Like, I'm more than happy to help you. So just let me know. Okay. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. How many of you have coaches that want to work now? A lot. A lot.
That was one thing I was going to contribute, is that it seems like my moms, especially the coaches who've been with me for a while, are really like a little stagnant, like pulling back a little bit. And some's fear, some's worry, some they just, like they have 3 kids around them and they're trying to teach and do all the things. But for the people who haven't been working really, really hard or have put a little bit in but haven't really gone for it, honestly, being home right now has opened the door. Like, I had 2 coaches hit Success Club that have never done it before. And they have a little bit more time. So my hope, my prayer, the way I'm going to mentor them from now on is, okay, you know what needs to happen. After this is over and they go back to work or whatever, you know how to do it. You know what needs to happen. Now let's prioritize your time a little bit better. But yeah, it's such an individual thing for everybody on my team. And I know it's individual for all of us too. I don't struggle with fear. I don't really struggle with fear. So but I know other people do. So, my content right now is here are tips, here's encouragement, here's scripture. And I'm not giving call to actions on my posts so much, but I am every other day in my story, and I'm messaging people. If you watch my story, it's so easy to start conversations right now, you guys. So easy to build relationships and start conversations. So if you're afraid of selling, that's totally okay. That's your viewpoint. I wouldn't do it. I would not sell out of fear. But if your conviction is that now is not the time to sell, totally fine. But now is a killer time to build relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll just add, I'm kind of doing what Rachel's doing. I'm not doing big call to actions in my posts, but I have shown up consistently. And because my kids are now home with me all day, I have other things to share that we're doing. Our school's doing virtual spirit week. So it was Norwin Day and then hat day, today's hat day, and yesterday was pajama day. So I'm sharing those things. So it actually almost gives me more content to share, because it's not just me at home. I actually have them home with me. But I have had, and I pulled up my online office to look. I think as of last Monday, I was at Success Club 6 or 8, and I'm at 36 today.
Wow.
Not because I had a killer launch with the new program, because I didn't. I think I had 4 coaches sign up with that. It's because of all the people who, as the week went on, realized I'm stuck at home. I need to do something, and you will be there. That is the message I'm getting from people. I had 4 re-sign up with me.
Yeah.
4 people who were coaches of mine, all discount coaches, but they were in the past, and they came back because they know that I'm not going anywhere. So I think above anything else, you showing up, showing that, yes, life is crazy. I don't think I did a 5 a.m. workout last week. That's what I've always done. That's what I do. I get up at 5, I press play, and I didn't, because it was really hard, because I'm trying to mom all day and work and balance all these things, and it's stressful, and there's fear, and there's all these, but I still showed up. So I feel above all the things, your consistency and staying true to your journey, like Mel was talking about in the beginning, that's gonna prove its worth tenfold. And I still the people, I'm not selling to any of them. They're sign me back up. I got off Shakeology. I now, the one girl was I finally drank that bag of Shake. Okay. So yeah, we're on time schedule, and they have 9 to 10's mommy's work time. So Colt's knocking on the door because it's time to be done. But anyways, the girl was hey, I finally finished that bag of Shakeology and combined it with workouts for a week. She's son of a gun, it worked. I was no shit, Sherlock, it sure did work. Yeah, because you did what you were supposed to do. And she's sign me back up. I want to be a coach again. I need that discount. She's whatever. But the point is, those are the conversations I'm repeatedly having, because people know this works. And I don't want to say it's forced into their hands, but it's forced into their hands because there's no other way to work out right now.
Mm-hmm.
So enough people who understand that your health really matters and fitness really matters, and it's a stress relief, and it's good for your heart, and it's good for your sanity, and it's good for your kids to see you, that stuff's all compounding right now. So I don't think you need to be call to action. I think you need to show up as you. Wherever you are, whatever you're I've shared the struggles. We canceled school Monday. I called a cancellation because I couldn't do it. And I had it And I was at my wit's end. So our 2-hour delay turned into a cancellation. I was like, you know what? Forget it. Watch your iPads, watch a movie, I'm done. And I think sharing the true struggles is what is relating to people most. Because like Rachel said, you can connect to so many people because the entire world is on lockdown. Doesn't matter what country, what state, and what time zone they're in, they're stuck at their homes. So you can find something to talk about.
Right. I love it. I love it, you guys.
And I think I've changed my mindset a little bit in that they're still just people, right? It's not any different. 3 weeks ago, these people needed us. They just didn't realize they needed us, right? So we just show up for them despite what's going on in the world. Like we just keep showing up for the people who need us.
I love it. All right, you guys, let's, we're going to close us out here, you guys. I just want to say every week, you know, we'll just kind of keep, as things progress and change, I'll be a little more vocal in here about just sharing things. And I'm going to work on Fridays, kind of my day where I don't have anything on the schedule and I have any calls scheduled, nothing. And so I'm going to just write some emails that I'm going to send out to customer leads. I've had a lot of people come in and I'll share that. I'm just going to copy and paste things that I'm doing. I'm going to work on some videos for my team, just some trainings, like how to use like Instagram, how to use Facebook, I'm going to just do some tutorials. Like I'm just going to create some simple things. I'm going to make like a 30-day posting calendar for people that have no idea how to make a post. So I'm going to do that. I'll share what I'm doing with you guys if you can just do the same in here. And then by Monday, I'll have a plan for April that I'll share with you guys too of what I'm doing, but please do not hesitate to reach out. You know, I know sometimes that I am like, just do it, right? And people feel bad reaching out and saying, but I need some help. Like, I don't mind if you are struggling, if you reach out, like I want to help you. All right. I want to help you succeed. So, and whatever that may look like. But I'm also really grateful to lead alongside of you. I'm grateful to have such an awesome team. And I know I say it a lot, but I really, really mean it. And I know that challenging times, they make us a better team. And we know that from past experience, that when we lean on each other versus trying to do it on our own, it doesn't work. But when we lean in together and we lean into the community, that's really where everything grows. All of us grow together. All right. So I love you guys. I'm really thankful for you. And I will see you guys soon. All right. Okay. Bye, everybody.